All righty. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, November the 24th, 2021. And this is Wisdom Wednesday with Dr. Mary Segars. And I'm so honored to have my special guest and friend, Dr. Rose Moten. Welcome. How are you?
I am great on this Thanksgiving Eve. How are you, Dr. Mary?
Awesome. Awesome. I'm so delighted that you said yes to come on and share your wisdom. So let me tell the audience a little bit more about this phenomenal woman. Dr. Rose Moten is a psychologist, author, speaker, and life transformation coach. As founder and CEO of Bloom Transformation Center, a Detroit-based wellness center that blends traditional mental health services with metaphysical and holistic approaches, she guides others to transform even the most challenging circumstances, helping others create a foundation of emotional wellness, which is so needed after what we've gone through, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And life success is her passion. Dr. Rose has been featured locally and nationally on television and radio programs, as well as newsprint articles. She's been on Oprah Winfrey's show, The OWN Network, Chicago Sun, Times, Detroit Free Press, Channel 7, Channel 4, WDIV, Fox 2 TV, and so many others. In addition to her knowledge and insight gained from more than 22 years of professional experience to the knowledge and insight and over a decade as an instructor on a collegiate level, Dr. Rose drew from her own personal experience to create practical techniques to assist others in attaining emotional wellness and success. This is the basis of her highly acclaimed book, Bloom, 7 Steps to Personal Transformation. The 7-step process provides a practical blueprint and self-discovery and personal transformation. Today, Dr. Rose works with organizations and individuals all over the world, guiding them through their own growth and transformation, utilizing the concept in Bloom. In addition to outpatient mental health and counseling services, Dr. Rose is the only mental health professional in Detroit offering trauma release training. That's powerful. Yes. Bond meditation, sound therapy classes, and neuro-optical brain training. Dr. Rose Moten is transforming lives and inspiring others to live their lives in full bloom by connecting them with most authentic, most productive, most fulfilled services. And for more information, you can reach out to Dr. Rose on her website, which is drrosemoten.com and bloomtransformationcenter.com. Wow, I tell you, you're a powerhouse lady. I'm so glad you're here with us today.
I appreciate that. My pleasure. It's my pleasure.
And you know, with Thanksgiving is upon us tomorrow, you know, people think it's a one-day holiday, but how important it is to really be thankful for, even for our mental health, our emotional health, every day of our lives, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, gratitude. I even started this month out and it wasn't anything I planned. I was actually in my car and I was driving home from running around or doing something, and it was just such a beautiful day on November 1st. And I went live before I got out of the car, and I just challenged individuals. I said, you know, since this, regardless of what we may think of the origins of the holiday, since this is the month of Thanksgiving, let's do a gratitude challenge. And I invited people to come and join me for the next 30 days and posting daily, just whatever they may find themselves grateful for that day. And it's been overwhelming, the number of people that decided to join me on that challenge. I was actually out and about last week at a function, and there was a woman that came to me, and I didn't even know who this woman was. I'm sure she was someone that followed me online, and she just thanked me. She said, I'm thank you. She said, I'm not participating in it. She said, but I'm enjoying reading all the ones who are their posts of gratitude. It just fills me with such gratitude to do so. So thank you to everyone who has decided to join me on that challenge, because I always say gratitude inevitably takes us to new altitudes, and we need to do more of that.
Wow, that's powerful. So how can you allow people to know how to be grateful for stuff? With this selfish society, sometimes it's not about, always the big things, but, sometimes it's just the small things that you could be grateful for.
Yes, absolutely. You're so right, Dr. Mary. Gratitude has a cumulative effect. And like you
Mhm.
said, we erroneously believe that, or even if we don't believe it, we practice this act of we're grateful when these huge things happen in our lives, whatever they may be, the things you've been waiting for, maybe a windfall of money, or you're in a relationship that you're happy in, or whatever that is. And of course, those are things to be grateful about.
Right.
But what we must learn to do, and what I mean by the cumulative effect that gratitude has, is that when we can find gratitude in the simple things, and I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
2 days back to back, two separate people that didn't even know each other that's participating in their challenge, their gratitude for that day, those 2 different days, was gratitude for water, something as simple as water, right?
Yes.
And I felt those posts resonated with me, and because this is something all of us, for the most part, we can go to our faucet, we can, turn it on, we can get some clean drinking water,
Yeah.
and we take it for granted because it's something that we do every day without thinking of. But there are millions and millions, and I could even dare say, 7 billion people on this earth, probably a billion plus people who can't say that in our world, on this globe.
Right.
So the little things, gratitude for the sun that's out today, all of those things will build up and have a cumulative effect for the momentum that we build in our lives, of that energy of gratitude, because it just ushers in more goodness.
Yes. Wow. Could you share with the audience what prompted you to endeavor into your field that you're in? I love the bloom. In fact, I got to get the book. But what prompted you to get into that, with your personality? So bubbly. I love it.
Oh, thank you. Wow. I didn't get that question too often, but believe it or not, my first major in undergrad was actually journalism. I had aspirations to be a broadcast journalist.
Wow.
And in my second year, it's part of my second year of undergrad, I had an unexpected pregnancy with my son, who actually next month will be 29 years old.
Wow.
And knowing the field of broadcast, right, and journalism, because my image was, I'm going to be in this market, that market. I was going to be this jet setter all over the world. And then I'm like, okay, I have a child now. And this is not, at that time, I'm how old was I? 20 at the time. And I'm like, this isn't feasible for, a young mother, this career. So I made journalism my minor.
Okay.
And I decided to make what was my minor then, psychology, my major.
Wow.
So, but what interested me in psychology was I had a father at the age of 12. I was a daddy's girl, and we had a very intact, very loving family. And my father had an unexpected, of course, they're always unexpected, but a massive stroke when I was 12 years old.
Oh my goodness.
And again, as a daddy's girl, I would accompany my mom to all the doctor's appointments, and I would hear the doctors talking about what happened to his brain. And I wanted to understand that. And when I started college, even 6 years after that occurred with him, he was still in that state. Like, he never recovered. Dementia, just, could not walk. Just really, it took its toll, to require 24/7 around the clock care. And I wanted to understand the neurology. I wanted to understand what happened to this person that was, like you say, my bubbly personality. He was full of charisma. What happened to this man that, I knew, my dad, what occurred, in his neurology to cause all these changes. And that's pretty much what sparked my interest in psychology.
Like, it was destined for you to do this, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel that way too. I do. And what's so interesting, Dr. Mary, It's
Mhm.
because even though broadcast media was my minor,
Mhm.
it has followed me throughout my career because, when I'm hearing you talk about all the different networks that I've been on, or the different platforms I've been on,
Yes.
none of these things have been things I have sought after. And I just tell people, now that I'm an empty nester, I'll put more momentum into actually being more just deliberate with that and intentional. But these are things that seem to always just fall into my path. And it's like, I trust the whole process of destiny. It's not for me to figure it out.
There you go. Just enjoy the journey, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
For the last 2 years, we've been going through the pandemic, and it's really had emotional and a mental effect on so many people. Have you seen clients more severely, emotionally disturbed? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Their mental health has been affected by this. How have you
Yeah.
noticed that?
Oh, wow. My colleagues can attest to the fact that we've never
Mhm.
been so, I don't like to use the word overwhelmed, but I've
Mhm.
never had so many individuals that even prior to the pandemic had
Yeah.
maybe no interest in reaching out for mental health services, So on the one hand, it's like, shocking, but on the other hand, it's a silver lining because I just believe everyone should have a psychologist, a therapist, a counselor, someone in their life. I think, like you have your dentist, your primary care physician, you need a mental health professional that you have contact with, that you can call up and say, hey, I need an appointment. I'm struggling with this. So it's opened up a lot of people to this whole world of mental health services who would have ordinarily not even embraced it. And for those maybe who that hasn't been the case, and they have children have been impacted like we've never seen before. So children are going to their parents like, I think need to talk to someone. I want a counselor. I want a therapist. So it's actually forced parents into, getting the help that their children are so desperately in need of. So that's a beautiful thing right there.
That's powerful. Because so many years before, mental health always had a negative stigma about itself, especially in the African American community. So I think we're opening up, we're blooming into learning the truth about
Absolutely.
that. And it's
Absolutely.
about time, right?
Yes, it's about time. And it's needed.
It is.
As horrific, and this is part of gratitude too. As horrific as this pandemic has undoubtedly been, there's been many silver linings, and I'm a believer that this pandemic is part of just this our evolution, if that makes sense. It's part of what is needed at this time to create a shift in not just thinking, but a shift in behavior. We have seen our world change in just light speeds, in the last just under 2 years, from everything from technology to people's attitudes and beliefs to, it's affected every part of our lives. And so even though, most of us, I think all of us are ready to have this thing over, I hope that we are also taking the time out to just sit and understand the necessity of it as well. The necessity of it in so many ways, interpersonally as well as collectively, because globally, collectively.
Yes, I agree. I remember seeing you on TV. They were sharing about your God meditation. Can you share a little bit about that? I was really intrigued too.
You have to come check us out. You have to come check us out.
I will.
So Gong meditation sound healing is a type of service that we offer there at Bloom Transformation Center, right down here on in Rivertown. We're right on the river at Mount Elliott Park. And what we do, we combine gong, those of us, I'm of age and I remember the gong show. And prior to me being introduced to this form of meditation, that's all I thought a gong was good for. It was part of this show that it had negative connotations, right? Because when you heard that, you were out. Right. And there's a wonderful woman that introduced me, Anita's her name, introduced me to just this gong practice. And I never heard of it. I was probably like most people when they see that I put it on, like, what the heck is this? Until I experienced it. And I, for years, meditated. I actually went through the training for transcendental meditation. So I went through formal training to learn how to meditate. And, you know, I would be more consistent with it at times than others. When I experienced that gong meditation sound healing for the first time, I went into a deeper meditative state that first time that I've ever gone to, and it amazed me. So I started to research it, and I started to practice it, and I decided to bring it to the practice that I opened here in Detroit, Rivertown, Detroit. And it's been an overwhelming success when I see my people, my culture, and it's not just us, but you know, like you just said, there's always been a stigma about this type of stuff we don't understand. In the beginning, I had people who were, you know, religious individuals would say, I don't trust that, it's not of God. And it's like, okay, you know, I respect people's views, but this has nothing to do with religious views at all. This has everything to do with us getting back to where we need to be, our default setting. And that's one of connectedness, one of presentness, one of balance. And that's what this sound healing gong meditation allows us to do. Meditation has been proven through research for the first time ever in 2013. The American Heart Association recognized in a study and published it, recognized meditation as being an effective tool to help prevent heart disease, right? Cardiovascular disease. To not only help prevent cardiovascular disease, but to also help individuals maybe who have had affliction with cardiovascular disease or hypertension, or to help them better manage it as well. That was huge for the medical, so American, Heart Association to recognize that was a huge accomplishment. So people come in and they come in with emotional issues, depression, anxiety, what have you, or poor emotional regulation. Women who are menopausal come in, you know, because they're having these emotional and physical things come on. Men come in who are having, anger, rage, or depression and things of that sort. People come in with physical pain issues, or, sciatica or back issues, whatever you may think. And they report immediately, just being in that space and having those frequencies and vibrations that come off those hot sound instruments, immediate relief. And our regulars will tell you this is part of their self-care routine, because they will find themselves just in a more emotional, regulated, consistent state.
That's powerful. That is powerful.
Yeah.
You just have to have an open mind, because we're not used to it, but get informed, get educated, and you're there to assist that. So that's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
And like I said, we need it. So what we're going through, in our world today, I put something on Facebook, Dr. Rose. I just want you to kind of respond to that about gratitude. And it just simply said that a grateful heart is a magnet for miracles. Would you agree with that?
1000%. I agree with it. I said at the beginning, gratitude takes us to new altitudes. It does. We will stay, people who speak more of despair, people who speak the most, people who speak of despair, people who speak the most of illness, people who speak the most of just frustration are the ones who have that in their lives. They continue to have that in their lives, because our words, our sounds, getting back to sounds, the words that we are speaking now has frequency, has vibration. You can put your hand up to your throat and I can feel the frequency and vibration as I speak. That goes out into the world, and all frequency and vibration is a magnet. Everything's energy in this world. Most of us can't explain how they're seeing us now live, because it's energy. We don't need to understand it. We just know that it's happening. No one's going to debate and say, this isn't real. This Zoom isn't real, because you can see it, right? But people, this is real, this vibration, this frequency, this energy. So whatever you speak out, you you're sending that vibration and frequency out, and it's like a boomerang or a magnet, like you said, and it's coming right back to you. So if I'm going to speak of how grateful I am for this beautiful view that I'm looking at right now, this water, this sunshine reflecting off of the water, or my gratitude for just amazing people in my life that, you know, are authentic and whole and supportive.
Yeah.
I'm sending that out, and I'm going to receive more of that, right?
That's right.
If you're going to speak about, you know, how horrible life is, or you're watching all you're watching, you know, stories of just despair at least 3-4 hours a day, and you're speaking of it on the phone when you talk to your friends, you're sending that vibration out, and it's boomeranging back to you like a magnet. So we have to be very aware of the power of our words, the power that we possess in these vessels to create our own reality.
Oh, that's awesome. It just reminded me of my first book that I wrote, Power Talk Begins with Power Thoughts. You know, we do talk to ourselves. What do we say to ourselves? There's power in our words. You know? Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
I know I saw on your Facebook, you had put a post that someone would have told you, what, 2 years ago, you would be doing what you're doing. You would elaborate a little bit about that, Dr. Rose. You know, it's amazing how wonderful your life is. And then you said, did you plan it like that? Or, you know?
No, and it wasn't, you know, I'm a believer to surrendering and trusting the process, right?
Yeah.
But the post said something. Someone told me 5 years ago that I would have relocated to my hometown of Detroit, because I didn't ever think I was looking to relocate out of the state, right? To go because I wanted a setting like the setting I live in now, but it didn't exist. Right. So I thought I had to go outside, you know, and if someone told me I'd relocated back to my city of Detroit, and not only my home, but my practice to the city of Detroit, and I will be offering a wellness center where people can come in and have gong sound healing meditation. I didn't know what that was 5 years ago, right? Or trauma release exercises, or neurooptimal brain training. I would have just, I can't tell you I would have believed them, because it was just, that was not on my radar. None of those things were on my radar. None of them. And the way things just supernaturally fell into place, right? It's like, again, when we get in alignment with this jet stream of gratitude, what the amazing part is that we don't have to force things to happen. Because if we're in alignment, and if we're walking in, you know, our divine purpose, the universe, God consciousness, our creator, you know, will align those things up with you having to put far less effort than you were ever told or you ever imagined you had to do with it. So I can't imagine where I'll be 5 years from now, but I know this is one thing I know for sure, Dr. Mary, is that if I continue to walk in authenticity, and I continue to walk in my truth, that it's going to be just amazing. And I look forward to it.
I know. And so with so many of your clients and new clients, because you're meeting a need too, you know. And sometimes I remember hearing this quote years ago, you know, if you do what you love, you know, the money will come. It's not so much about the money, but you're meeting, you're solving a problem for people, you know.
Yes.
And that's value. That's so much value, Dr. Rose, you know.
It's so much value. It's solving a problem for people. And I also see it as helping us collectively, like this world, to get back into balance.
Yes.
Right? To get back into balance. So, you know, I hear people use the term light workers, LIGHT, light workers, a lot. And see that as people who really just subscribe to this thinking of, you know, we all should be able to just enjoy this beauty and fullness of life. And what can we share that we've been gifted with as far as wisdom? And, you know, this is called Wisdom Wednesday. Wisdom doesn't come from, it comes from us.
Right.
So we're the vessel, but the messaging doesn't come from us. You can't take credit for it. We can't take credit for it. You know,
that's right.
You know, we can applaud ourselves. I'm a believer in applauding ourselves, but we also recognize that we are vessels. We also recognize that the messaging is coming from something much bigger than we are.
Yeah.
And we are just being obedient in sharing that message with others.
Right.
So that's our role, like if we continue to walk in wanting to just help others to appreciate and to bask in the light, then we'll have all the support that we need. I have to share this. So
yes.
This past Sunday, Sound Healing, we've been selling out the last few weekends. It's been amazing, right? And a new first timer said, they're usually eyes closed, they're in a meditative state, but I always allow a space for people to share afterwards. And someone afterwards said, I was just hearing sounds coming from everywhere. And I'm just like, how is she doing that? Like, is there another person? One person said, I even peeked one time to see if there was another person up there, because I'm hearing sound coming from here, there, this and that. And I halfway joked with them, and it came to me. I said, I always invite my ancestors in to come help me while I'm doing it. And they, people got a big kick out of that. Right. But I say it half jokingly, right, because I know I couldn't do what I do on my own. So I invite my parents who've passed on, who are on the, in the other realm now. I invite them to assist me in the work I'm doing. My loved ones that, colleagues and friends that I've lost along the way who still had to-do list of stuff they wanted to do in their light work here. Yeah. I invite them to, utilize me to help me even fulfill what it is that they've been or they weren't able to complete in their human existence here, because there's we're still spiritual beings, so even when we leave this human body, we still got work to do, right. So I just recognize the gift that I've been given to be able to speak to individuals like you and to help my community, my culture, my collective, the world, at large, to just return and rediscover the truth of who they are.
Wow. And keep doing it and doing it in great style. You're really talented, because I also saw on Facebook, my friend, you play some type of instrument too. I said, what doesn't Dr. Rose do? I said, look at my girl. My girl's doing it.
So let me say this. So I put, and I just have to tell, I do, every year I do a vision board, New Year's Eve vision board workshop. And this last year was virtual. This year's virtual again. Go to Bloom Transformation Center, BLOOM, like a flower bloom, bloomtransformationcenter.com, and you can register for that workshop. It's virtual. So your whole family can be around, just like, a computer, and make a vision board from 12 to 2, New Year's Eve. But last year, I was looking around to see if the board was in here. I took it out. But last year, I put on my vision board. So last December 31st, I put on my vision board a picture of a flute, because when I was out, getting all my materials for the vision board, I saw the flute, and I will find myself, I played the flute in middle school many, many moons ago. So 1983 to 86, whatever time that was, I was in middle school. I played the flute, never picked up a flute since 1986, right? Hadn't picked up a flute since then. But I would find myself walking around the house. I'm one of those people, walk around the house, I'll sing, I'll hum, I'll do whatever. And I would hum songs I played in middle school. Like, believe it or not, it was the theme to the A-Team. The A-Team was a big show back then.
Oh, so right.
I would be humming, because the band we were in, we would throw down on that song. Yeah. And I would find myself humming that. So when I saw this flute at Michael's, when I was looking for it, I said, I'm getting one of those. I'm putting on my vision board. I want to learn how to play the flute again. Fast forward to this past February, I reached out to Dr. Michelle May, or Michelle May. I'm speaking into existence, Michelle, you're gonna have your doctorate. But anyway, she probably gonna see this and be like, stop. But Michelle May, I reached out to her, and she's a music teacher, but she's also a therapist, right? Yeah. But I figured she'd know who I could reach out to get lessons. And she said, I give lessons. And so we started just this past February, doing lessons twice a month. And I tell you, I'm just even amazed at the progress that I've been able to make in the music I've been able to play, since I took this. And it's so relaxing. It's something I do throughout the day. In between patients, I'll pick it up, I'll play a song, and it kind of just helps me, again, usher in good frequency and vibration. So thanks for sharing that. But I have a good time with it. My kids are like, here she comes again. Like, I've become kid now with the instrument that the parents like, is she playing that again?
It's almost like riding the bike. Remember, once you know how to do it, it'll come back to you like second.
It'll come back to you. That muscle memory was still there. I had no idea that muscle memory was still there.
You were good too. You're very good.
You.
I've enjoyed our conversation. I tell you, I could talk on and on. I will be registering for the class, so I'm gonna go on. So I want you to tell our audience too, Dr. Rose, how they can reach out to you, how they can connect to you, how they can, how you can service them, and just let the world know, because they need to get connected to you.
Awesome. I appreciate that. So yeah, you can reach out to me, Bloom, like a flower bloom, transformationcenter.com, or Dr. Rose Moten. Moten is MOTEN.com, no L. And our office number is 313-285-9886. And you can reach out to us. Come check out our sound healing. The first timers always get the first class half off. So if you go to Bloom Transformation Center to walk you through how to register for our sound healing classes, we have one this evening. So those of you who want a little hour break in between this holiday madness you may find yourself in, 7 p.m. We start on time. So if you come at 7:05, you're going to be out of luck. But we have 7 p.m. on Wednesday, and Saturday and Sundays at noon. We also do trauma release workshops every first Tuesday of the month. But all that stuff is online. You can go to my website again and just pull all that information off.
And just in closing, what would you like to say to people with the Thanksgiving holiday tomorrow? They may not have family members. They may, still have some emotional hurt that they're dealing with. What kind of words of comfort can you give to people that may be in that situation?
I tell people, number one, give yourself grace. It's okay to not feel in that holiday spirit that we are bombarded. The media bombards us with family gatherings. We know that's not always the case, because unfortunately, we know we'll hear news stories the next day of tragic stories that happen around the Thanksgiving table, right? I say give yourself grace, and it's okay. Honor your emotions, but at the same time, recognize the power you have to shift your emotions. Mm-hmm. So you can go there, but you can't stay there. Yeah. So once you go there, honor it, understand why, but figure out what can be done. And oftentimes that's even volunteering, giving to others. I tell people, research has even showed people who found themselves very depressed during the holiday, one of the best antidotes to that depression is volunteering to help others who may even be less fortunate to you, because there's such a feeling of just I guess worth that we even get when we can see we can help influence another person's emotional state for the better. Yeah. So honor yourself. You can go there. You can acknowledge this is not the happy holidays everyone portrays on TV, but you can't stay there. And start to develop a toolbox for yourself that you can go and pull these tools out when you find yourself in a place of despair or dysfunction that will immediately take you to the other side of that. And that's one of the things we do at Bloom Transformation Center. So, if you're ready to just even embrace a different way of living life and approaching life and just existing in life, reach out to us.
Oh, powerful. Thank you so much, my sister.
Thank you, Dr. Mary. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
And I wish you and your family a blessed Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much.
Likewise, I won't. I'm getting ready for my 50th in January, so I'm trying to get myself together.
You look good, my sister. Love you and thank you, and have a blessed day now.
You too. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye for now.